fed dolphins this morning because Amanda is the kind of person who makes detailed itineraries and thinks of every little detail on an adventure. And I've realised how much I appreciate this morning when we stopped in Maryborough, of all places, which I just thought, oh yeah, it's one of the towns that you pass through where you can get fuel and food. And I didn't even realise the whole place is like Mary Poppins themed. And even the traffic lights, like when you cross the road, the little red man and the little green man are actually little red Mary Poppins and little green Mary Poppins. So we got footage of that. And she filmed like inside the golden toilet. There's like the main public toilets in town. It's like covered in paintings all over the walls, and the toilet's golden and it's all pretty and magical in there. And for some reason there was a lady sitting outside. We were calling her the toilet lady, but we don't really know what her purpose was, but she was giving us information about the toilets before we entered. So yeah, little things like that have been really cool, because I wouldn't even have taken the time to think about the fact that the traffic lights were like that, or that everything was Mary Poppins themed. And the dolphins that we fed this morning were rare, like humpback dolphins, estuary dolphins that don't exist anywhere else in the world apparently, apart from like the east coast of Australia. And yeah, they're wild dolphins, but they have had enough contact with the humans in that area that there's a bit of a routine established. They know if they come in the mornings they get fed, and there's all like environmental protection stuff in place that the humans are only allowed to feed them a certain, I think it's like 3 kilograms of fish per day or per week or something like that, so that it doesn't interrupt their regular feeding patterns in the wild. And they know them enough that they're familiar to the point where they all have names, and they even know about the different relationships between different dolphins in the pod. And like Mystique is the alpha male, and he has beef with one of the other dolphins, and they fight over women and all this crazy stuff. So these kinds of things I haven't really done so much in the past. I used to call it like touristy crap, to be totally honest. And I don't like doing animal stuff, because when I look at the big lineup of like heaps of humans going to like interact with the animals, I'm like, oh, that's too much human interaction with the animals. But the way that they did it at the place we were was really respectful to the animals, and like really like a controlled environment on the human side of things. Like the animals were totally free and we were totally controlled. And I think that's fair and balanced when you're doing an animal related interaction. So that's just like today, and it's halfway through the day. We're on our way to 1770 now. Yesterday we were at Rainbow Beach and Double Island Point, and my dad and my sister came up and we went four-wheel driving around the beach, and we've got really amazing drone visuals of like the beaches and the different blues and greens of the ocean, and four-wheel drive tracks. And we were riding the boogie boards down the sand dunes, and went for a swim with the new GoPro dome thing that I've got, so I can film above the water and below the water at the same time. Didn't get any really good footage because I was just running around like a crazy person, body surfing, but it was fun. And now I know that the housing isn't going to break down even under severe punishment, because we were proper like getting smashed by waves, and it doesn't even affect the camera at all. It's fine. So it's a little bit of a test, because we're going snorkeling on the southern end of the Great Barrier Reef with turtles and all of the wonderful creatures and fish that will exist in that environment. I don't even know myself. And like we're going to snorkel on the way to Lady Musgrave Island, then we're going to get on the island and we're going to film some stuff there, and then we'll come back and we'll spend the night again in 1770. If you don't know where 1770 is, it's like halfway up the east coast to Cairns, kind of like, or maybe a third of the way to Cairns from Brisbane. And another fun fact is like Cairns to Brisbane is like halfway to Melbourne. So the same distance from Melbourne to Brisbane is the distance from Brisbane to Cairns. And I know that sounds unbelievable because if you go from Brisbane to Melbourne, you're going through New South Wales and Victoria. But Queensland is massive. Like, people don't realise how big Queensland is. And when I was travelling around Queensland, like, I was covering hundreds of kilometres a day and still, like, spending, like, a huge amount of time exploring this state. And, like, the outback and everything is so expansive. Like, there's just... You could drive for hundreds of kilometres in so many different directions and you wouldn't even see a person usually. But I was driving around the country during COVID too, so it was like the weirdest experience because I never saw people, and it was like this whole country was deserted and I was like the last person on earth, and I had like, didn't have enough water at some points and I was getting a bit of heat exhaustion and like starting to trip out a little bit, and it was like starting to get really strange out there, but that was all part of the fun. So what do we do before that? There's also content from the trip that I'm posting on Instagram, and I'll post on the newest channel, Kai Lives 3, so you can see the moments and experiences instead of me telling you about them. I think that's a much more exciting way to experience stuff. But I'm also just documenting this for myself for the future, so I can like remember what I was actually focusing on, what I was thinking and feeling in these moments. Google, how is she back on? I turned her voice off and she's back on again, trying to tell me what to do. Tell me how to live my life. Anyway, so we were at Double Island Point, Rainbow Beach, four-wheel driving, drone footage. It's the first time that I've felt really confident in my drone footage. Like 90% of the shots that I got were actually what I intended to shoot. Like, it's really smooth, it's not jerky, like I'm getting used to the controls, like the drone is a part of me, I'm becoming integrated with the technology, and I, like, making less mistakes with a drone means that you actually get the shots that you're looking for. Like if you want to turn around and chase a car up the beach or something, if I accidentally hit the wrong button, if I go up and down instead of forwards and backwards, for example, then I just lose these opportunities. But yeah, I'm getting very used to it now. And then we were in Maleny before that. Amanda said Maleny. Oh, that was, yeah. So when we went to Maleny, we checked out a whole bunch of vendors that sell the sober, non-alcoholic beverages, bush tucker beers, and they were all out of stock, which is probably a good thing because that means we're selling a lot of beer. But it's a bad thing because people can't buy it there. So I just made them aware that I would like the beer to be available next time I come there, so they will get more in stock. That was a little side mission that we had. We also got some pineapple jam for my stepmom because she said there's amazing pineapple jam there. Stopped in New Mundy, and when we were at Maleny, we stayed on Mountain View Road at this big, massive, beautiful place on the side of the mountains, and we could see the whole Glasshouse Mountains at sunset and sunrise, and the sun sets on one side and the sun rises on the other side, so both the sunrise and the sunset look incredible over the Glasshouse Mountains. So we flew the drone around there as well, but it was my first drone flight in a while and I was being a bit of a wuss and not really pushing the drone to its limits, so I didn't get a lot of cool shots there. There's a little bit, and I posted that on Instagram already. This is feeling a little bit too much like a list. I really liked Maleny, but we were also very tired because before Maleny we were at my dad's place on the farm and we were riding motorbikes around and yeah, just like constantly doing stuff there as well. So that's why I am a little bit tired, and I intended to do videos every single day, but we've just been adding as much as we can to the itinerary and like including my dad and my sister have joined us on some of the adventures. So like doing a video diary just hasn't been a priority, and as well, like, it's not much of a video diary if my head's so full of stuff that it just comes out like a list of experiences that I've had, maybe. I have a skydiving voucher for my birthday as well, so I'm going to be jumping out of a plane soon, and it comes with video, so I'll have footage of that. I'm going to have so much footage of so many adventures soon. And I'm doing this thing on this trip, if you've been following along, where I'm only filming on devices that are compatible with my phone, that I can put the footage directly from the device to my phone, and I'm doing all of the editing on my phone using a free program called CapCut. Little challenge for myself to see if I can produce like reasonably good content that looks like I made it on my laptop with my phone, and also speeding up the process so that we can do editing as we go along, so I don't just get home from a big wild adventure where we're traveling the world and stuff and I've got like 6 months worth of content that I don't even want to look at, because it's going to take me like days and days just to go through the stuff and find out what's happening each day. Like, edit it all every day at the end of each day, cut it all down, only keep the best bits, and then at the end, even if I haven't finished it, it's like 90% there. That's the plan. And I did the first prototype for this style of editing. I actually entered in a competition, the Outback Explorer competition, and the first prize for the best film is $10,000. So I made my entry for that competition with CapCut on my phone. To be fair, a lot of the footage was pre-edited from all of the adventures that I've had all around the country, because the competition is showcase Australia in under 2 minutes. And I just saw that as an ad on my Facebook, and I was like, wow, like I actually have all the footage to do this. Like, it will only take me like an hour, and it did. So why not? So lots of cool little perfect opportunities are opening up all around me, and I'm enjoying the adventures. Yeah. I was trying to figure out like how am I going to, like in an earlier video I was talking about how do you just do like happy content that's just really positive and having a good day, and I think that's going to be the new way of like not talking about it, actually showing it. So that's what we're focusing on right now. The next stop will be 1770, and then we'll go for a swim at Agnes Waters, and then we'll check into our accommodation. We've got to go to bed early because we've got to be up and on the boat that takes us to Lady Musgrave Island at 5:30 in the morning. 5 in the morning, Amanda's just told me. I don't know where I got 5:30 from, I keep saying it, and if I was in charge of things, we would probably miss the boat. And yeah, I guess I'll just focus on making sure that all my cameras are charged and we're all prepared for that. And update all the different things that I can update when I have a moment, because I can't edit in the car. I've been doing it, but I get really nauseous looking at my phone too long in the car, so probably I'm looking at the screen far less right now, like, because something about looking at phones while I'm driving just makes me feel unsettled. So the plan was like we could... Did you turn it back on?
How are you guys traveling?
Oh, it's a text message. I don't like when phones talk to me either. I just want them to be quiet, and I turn off all of my notifications, and even the notifications that I do have on, because they're essential, are usually silent notifications, because I don't like if I have my phone set to like beep and buzz and do all these things. It's like you're training yourself to be subservient to your technology in a way. Like, you know, they train the experiment where they train the dog to salivate at the sound of a buzzer, by like every time the buzzer goes off, they give the dog a treat, and then eventually the buzzer just automatically makes the dog salivate. It's like that with technology. Like if we get a little dopamine hit every time it buzzes or beeps, then we become accustomed to like, oh, I want my phone to be buzzing and beeping, and we get like this weird like new kind of addiction to it. I'm not interested in having that, so I usually make it so that all of my devices, they only give me information when I ask for it. That's my little relationship with technology, and a little insight in the present moment to go with this random assortment of recounted experiences. I feel like I probably should have gone into more detail about how I felt and what occurred at each of these places, but this is already a 15-minute video. If you did enjoy hearing a about what's been going on behind the scenes, so that you can kind of match that with the pretty visuals and stories that you see on Instagram and Facebook, or even TikTok. Sometimes I post it on TikTok. Yeah, let us know by clicking the like button. Leave your comments down below. Maybe comment down below what you would like to see more of, which style of content, which adventures you would like to see, what you're doing, what's really cool that you've already experienced, a recommendation where we might go next. And subscribe if you haven't already, so that you can find out what's going on in the future.